feeling that opening. This gives a little stretch to the lower back. And also to the rib cage, the front of the body. Just have your arms, however feels good for them. They can be cactus, bending at the elbows behind you, or just down to the sides. And then practicing with the breath, and it's hard to breathe deeply when you're in this position, so it's just nice, long, slow breathing, but you don't have to swell the belly too much. But we're going to do box breath, which is imagining as you inhale up the side of the box, and then across the top you hold the breath, and we're for the count of 4, so it's even. So hold the breath for 4, and then exhale down the other side for 4, and then hold the breath out for 4, and then start again. And the box really is just to visualize, to keep your attention on the breath. You can wriggle around a little if you feel you want to move your towel or your cushion under your back to slightly higher, slightly lower, up to you. Okay, and then bend your knees, bring your feet in. Just lift your hips up, remove the block from whatever you have from under you. And then we're going to thread the needle, so bringing the right ankle across the left thigh, and then activate the right foot, so flex at the ankle. And then thread your right hand between the two thighs, hold the back of the left thigh, just let that left foot hang loose, and then draw the thigh towards your chest, but keeping the toes pointing towards the shin on the raised leg, so that keeps your knees safe. Draw it in. You can even press your right elbow against the right inner thigh to deepen that stretch in the hip. And then exhale, release the left foot down, uncross. Cross left ankle over right knee. Thread the needle, take the back of the right thigh, flex the left foot, activating the lower leg. Draw the right thigh towards you. If you feel you're flexible enough, you want to deepen the stretch, but so you should be able to still keep your head and shoulders on the mat. If you can't, you could prop them on your cushion, but so you're not kind of dangling and putting strain on the neck, but drawing the leg towards you and pushing the elbow into the left thigh. And then exhale, release, draw your knees into your chest. Just rock a little side to side. And then bringing the palms onto the top of the knees, just drawing little circles with the knees in one direction. So massaging the lower back into the mat. And then rolling the knees the other way. And then hug your knees in. You might even want to cross the feet at the ankles, doesn't really matter. But now you're going to inhale, squeeze your knees towards your chest, squeeze your core, lift your head and chest towards your knees, and then start to rock. Use your core to rock backwards and forwards. See if you can come right up onto your shoulders a couple of times, and then rock to sit. Then sitting up, straighten legs in front of you, bend the left leg, activate the right leg, so flex at the ankle, press the back of the knee down. Inhale, as you lift up, you're going to take the left hand behind you and then hug the right arm around the left knee. Keep lifting, revolve to look behind you. Drop the left shoulder away. Just a gentle twist. Inhale, look back to centre. Exhale, releasing that leg down. Bend the right leg. Activate the left leg. Press the back of the knee down. Take the right hand behind you. Inhale, lift. Hug the right knee. And revolve to look behind you. Relax the shoulders away from the ears. So trying to squeeze the navel towards the spine so you feel that spiral of the spine. You're not just crunching through the mid-back. Okay, and then inhale, look back to centre. Exhale, unravel. And then we're going to come onto our hands and knees. Okay, into tabletop. So tuck your toes under. We're going to do a little circuit to warm up the spine and the hips. So making sure that you're pressing through the palms, lifting up through the, so lift the chest up so the shoulders, you're pushing out between the shoulder blades, but have a neutral spine. And then inhale to cow, so tip the tailbone up, look up. Exhale, round into cat, so draw the chin towards your chest, press up through the palms, tuck your tailbone under. And then you're going to lift. Take the right foot back slightly. Actually, yeah, I'll do the opposite side. But right foot back slightly. Well, you can't see because my Navy mat. But and then the other foot. So you're coming into what I've always called the truth, which is you've got bent knees, but your knees aren't touching the mat. So this is deep core work. Press up through the palms, and then take the right foot straight into plank, and then the left foot straight. When you're in plank, you're hugging the forearms towards each other. Push out between the shoulder blades. Hug the thighs and shins towards the midline. Push through your heels. And then come back into, bring the right toes forward. Keep the knee off the mat. This is like bear plank, I think it's called. Left foot forward, so both knees are bent, hips are neutral. And then lower the knees to the mat. Keep the toes tucked under. Inhale to cow, look up. Tip the tailbone up. Exhale, rounding through the back. Tuck the tailbone under. Inhale to cow. Exhale to cat. Come into bear again, or the truth. So taking the right toes back slightly. Left toes back. Keep the knees bent. Knees hovering off the mat, really pushing up through the palms, straight arms. Take the right leg straight into plank, left foot into plank. Shoulders over wrists. If your wrists are getting sore, you can come down onto your forearms. You can drop your knees if you need to. Come back into bear, bring the right foot forward. left foot forward, knees hovering, spine neutral, so really drawing up through navel to spine. Drop the knees, inhale to cow, exhale to cat, and then come to lie on your front. I want to give your wrists a little shake, warm them up, and then make little balls, flick your fingers open. Okay, coming into Sphinx, so elbows under shoulders, the forearms are parallel, palms pressing down. Activate your legs, so the feet are hip distance apart. Press the tops of the feet down into the mat so the kneecaps lift. Press the pubic bone down. Reach your chest forward, feel the core stretch, but working into the back body, so don't just sink down. You want to push up through the elbows, shoulders away from ears. Reach the chest forward, so feel that stretch in the core, strengthening through the back body. Keep the legs really active, kneecaps lifting, pubic bone pressing down. And then exhale, roll the feet out, relax the hips, rest your head on your arms. Okay, then inhaling, coming back to cobra legs. You're going to reach the hands forward. So your hands are probably just to the outside edge of the mat, up on your fingertips, spider fingers, and lift the elbows so the arms are straight. Draw your shoulder blades down your back, shoulders away from ears, and now, same thing, kneecaps are lifting, tops of the feet pressing down, press through the pubic bone, try and curl the chest up and forward. Draw the shoulder blades down towards your waist. Gaze is forward, so don't crick the neck, so just either looking at the front of the mat or just in front of your fingers. Keep breathing nice and deeply, strong through the legs, that engages the core, which protects the lower back. And then exhale, release, roll the feet out, rest your head on your hands. Okay, then coming into Cobra. So just to explain to those of you who are new to yoga, there are two different types of back bend that we do when we're doing the sun salutes or our vinyasa, which is like a mini sun salute. So there's Cobra, Bhujangasana, which is when you're lying on the ground like this, and you have your hands are beside your rib cage. They're not forward like this. They're sort of beside your rib cage. Fingers pointing, the index finger pointing forward, and then you hug your elbows in and draw them down towards your waist. So the shoulders are away from your ears. You activate the legs. So feet press down, kneecaps lift. Press the pubic bone down, and then you curl up. But you keep the elbows bent, draw the elbows down towards your waist, reach the chest forward. So it's a back bend, but it's gentler than the next stage, which is, and here you can look up, but rather than just raising your eyebrows, it's like an upper back curl. So if you feel you're just having to drop the head back, then just gaze forward and practice on opening through the upper back. That's Cobra. And then if you want to do up dog, that's the advanced version, which we come through to. So up dog is actually when you're only on, so you're resting on your palms, and then you actually come onto the tops of your feet, but your hips are lifted. You then sink your hips, but only your feet and your hands are touching the mat. And then you pull your chest between your arms, same thing, upper back curl. So it's much more intense through the lower back. And then if you were coming into down dog, you flip the toes and come up. So that's the two differences with those, because we're just going to do, I just realised, sorry, one sec. My view's gone. lie on your front, and we'll just do low cobra or cobra Bhujangasana. So hands beside your rib cage. Activate the legs so the kneecaps lift. Hug your elbows in, and as you inhale, press through the pubic bone. Keep your elbows bent, reach your chest forward. It's very strong through the lower back, so if you need to lower down a little and just gaze down, it's all a work in progress, but keep hugging the elbows in and draw the shoulders away from your ears. And then exhale down. We're going to put your right ear onto the mat. Bring your arms down beside you, backs of the hands resting onto the mat. We're going to come up into locust, Shalabhasana. So this is where we're actually going to lift the legs and the arms. So you keep that, start to activate like cobra legs, so press the feet down into the mat so you can feel the kneecaps lift. And then inhale and look up. So you're going to lift your arms and lift your feet. Point your hands down towards your toes, point your toes away from you. Gaze is at the front of the mat, on the front of the mat. Roll your shoulders back and down. And roll your thighs under you, internal rotation. So the knees point down. And then exhale, release. Turn to lie your left ear on the mat. Relax completely. And then once more, inhale into locust. So activate the legs, reach the arms away from you, lift the legs, roll the thighs under you so the knees point down. Try and lift the chest up, but keep shoulders away from ears. Exhale, release, bring your palms down, tuck your toes under, come up into tabletop. You might want to just rock your hips a little, just loosening, and then draw little circles with your hips, bring your shoulders forward of your wrists, just start to rock side to side, or whatever feels good for your spine, because we'll be working quite intensely through the back of the body. So, okay, and then coming up into down dog. You can do a little bit of core work. So if this is too strong from down dog, you can come back down into tabletop. Knees and hips. Knees under hips and hands under shoulders. But otherwise we're in down dog. Inhale, lift your right leg. Lower your left heel. Roll the right thigh internally so the knee is pointing down. And then roll forward into plank, and then curl the right knee into the nose. So curling in your nose towards your knee, lift your heel towards your bottom, up on the left toes. And then exhale, lift the right leg back up again, lower the left heel. Get the hips level, roll the right thigh under you. Inhale, roll forward into plank, right knee to left elbow. Keep straight arms, pressing out between the shoulder blades. One more breath. And then lifting the right leg up, lowering the left heel to the mat. Make sure you're pressing through the index finger and the thumb, keeping the wrist safe. Roll forward into plank, right knee to right elbow. Heel tucking up towards your buttock. Keep the breath coming nice and evenly. And then lift that leg back up. And then come back into down dog. Inhale, lift the left leg up, lower the right heel, roll the left thigh under so the hips are level, and then inhale, come up onto the back toes, roll into plank, curl in, knee to nose, heel towards the bottom. And then take the left leg back up, lower the right heel, feel that calf stretch. Roll forward into plank, left knee to right elbow. squeeze your core. Push up through your palms, and then lifting left leg up, lowering right heel. Last one, roll into plank, left knee to left elbow. And then inhale, lifting the leg back up, lowering the right heel, and then coming back into down dog, come into child's pose. Take the knees wide, toes touching, rest your forehead, tip of the nose on the mat. Just settle into that. Okay, and then coming up slowly and come to stand at the front of your mat. Take a few moments in Tadasana, mountain. Feet hip distance apart. Lift, spread the toes, place them down. Feel the energy lifting up through the thighs, the core, the chest, shoulders relaxed. So 3 rounds of Surya Namaskar A, Sun Salute A. Inhale, Urdhva Hastasana, hands up, palms together, look up at your thumbs. Exhale, lift the tailbone up, floating forward. Inhale, halfway lift, extend the spine. Tip up the tailbone, feel the backs of the legs stretch. Exhale, palms down, step back to plank. Drop your knees if you need to, otherwise tip forward. Lower through Chaturanga to Cobra or Up Dog. Remember, keep the elbows bent if you're in Cobra, draw them down towards your waist. Then exhale, tuck your toes, lift your hips, come into Down Dog. Take 3 breaths. Start to activate, practice your Ujjayi breath, so breath with sound, that restriction at the back of the throat. Inhale, up on your toes, bend your knees, look forward, come forward to halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Inhale, rising up, palms together. Exhale, hands to heart center. Inhale, hands together. Exhale, floating forward, engage the core. Inhale to halfway lift. Exhale, palms down, step back to plank. Lower to low press up, Chaturanga. Squeeze the outer hips and then come to Cobra or Up Dog on the inhale. This is your back bend, so really activate the core, press the pubic bone down. Exhale, tuck your toes, activate the legs, lift up into Down Dog. 3 breaths. Inhaling, up on your toes, bend your knees, come forward to halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Inhale, Urdhva Hastasana, hands up, palms together. Exhale, hands to heart center. So 1 more. Just come and watch you guys. So standing in mountain, inhale, your hands up, palms together, look up. Exhale, float forward, forward fold. Inhale to halfway lift, flat spine, draw your shoulder blades down your back. Then exhale, palms down, step back to plank. Lower to low press up, keep the elbows hugged into your sides. And then lower to the mat or inhale to up dog, cobra. Exhale, tuck the toes, far up the legs, lift your hips, coming into down dog. Take 3 breaths here. And then inhaling, up on your toes, bend your knees, step forward to halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Then inhale, rising up, palms together. Exhale, hands to heart center. Very good. Amelie, have you got socks on? Because you're best without. If you've got a proper yoga sticky mat, it's much better that you get your feet, bare feet touching. Okay, we're going to do 1 round of Surya Namaskar B, so Sun Salute B, with chair pose and warrior 1. Feet hip distance apart, standing in mountain. Inhale, bend your knees to chair pose, bring your arms forward and up, and then look up between your thumbs, draw the shoulder blades down your back. Exhale, straighten the legs, fold forward. Inhale, halfway lift, extend the spine, tip the tailbone up. Exhale, palms down, step back to plank. Lower, low press up, chaturanga. Inhale, cobra or up dog. Exhale to down dog. Lift your right leg up. Roll forward into plank, knee to nose. Place the right foot between your hands. Warrior 1, drop the left heel down. Feet hip distance apart. Left toes point slightly forward. Sink through the right knee. Level the hips so they're in line with the front of the mat. Bring your arms up. Palms together. This is a back bend. Sink the hips. Draw the shoulder blades down your back. Look up at your thumbs. Exhale. Palms down. Step back to plank. Lower to chaturanga. Inhale to up dog or cobra. Exhale to down dog. Inhale, lift the left leg. Roll. Wasn't sure what I was doing, sorry. Left foot comes forward for warrior 1. Drop the right heel. Hips level to the front of the mat, so draw the left side of the hips back. Right hip rolls forward, looking up. Then exhale, palms down. Step back to plank. Lower through chaturanga. Inhale, up dog or cobra. Exhale, down dog. Take 3 breaths. So settle into your down dog. Look at your hands, check they're placed well. Press more of the weight into the thumb and the index finger. Straight through the spine. It doesn't matter if your knees are bent slightly, your heels are off the mat. Feel the length in the spine. Then inhale, up on your toes. Bend your knees deeply. Look forward, step forward to halfway lift. And exhale, fold. Bend your knees. Inhale to chair pose. Just gaze down and your knees in front of your toes. Draw the knees back. Sit down a little. Neutral spine. Squeeze your thighs. Looking up. Bring the palms together. Exhale. Hands to heart center. Well done. I just need a quick drink. Shouting for the dog today. My throat's sore. Okay, so I'm fine. Oh yes. So we're going to bend your knees, palms down. Step back to down dog. Inhale, lift the right leg up, lower the left heel, three-legged dog. So you're rolling the thigh, right thigh internally, so the knee points down, and then roll the right hip open, so bend the right knee and point the right toes behind you. Keep lowering the left heel and then rolling the right knee back down, level the hips and bring the right foot knee to nose and then bring it between your hands. Coming into runner's lunge, feet are hip distance apart. You want to keep the right knee above the right ankle, lift up through that left thigh, reach the chest forward, and then bring the left palm down under the left shoulder, so shoulder width apart from the foot. Keep the chest reaching forward, lifting up through the back thigh and twist. If you need to drop the back knee, you can to make it a little easier. So you really want to have a wide wingspan, reaching the hands away from each other, but draw the shoulder blades, squeeze them towards each other. Keep the right knee will want to roll out to the side, so keep drawing it level with the ankle. And then exhale, bring your fingertips back either side of the front foot, drop the left knee down, flatten the foot, so you might want to pad your knee if you're on a hard floor, but you want the left knee behind the left hip, come into a low lunge. So sink the hips, you're still kind of tucking the tailbone here, really feeling this front of the hip opening. Then inhale, lift your left arm up and lean over to the right. Feel that stretch up out of the left hip. And then bring your palms down. We're going to take a vinyasa, a mini sun salute. So tuck the left toes under, step back to plank. Lower through chaturanga, drop your knees if you need to. Inhale, cobra or up dog. Exhale to down dog. Inhale, raise the right leg, lower the left heel, three-legged dog. And then roll into plank, bring the right foot to the outside of the right hand. And you'll want your block or a cushion. I'll show you front on. So you've brought, coming into lizard. So have your block in front of you. And normally with lizard we turn the toes out and let the thigh roll in that direction to open the hip, but we're activating the inner thigh. So hands are shoulder width apart, hug, so toes pointing in the same direction as the fingers. You can drop your back knee if you need to make it a little less intense, otherwise you keep the back knee lifted. And hug your knee into your bicep. So just hugging it in. And then if you can, you'll come forward, so you might want to raise the, you can bring, this is where you might want to drop the knee. If you can bring your, keep the knee hugging in, bring your forearms to your block, clasp your hands, trying to keep length. It's a bit easier to reach the chest forward if the leg's lifted, but see how you are. And then from here, turn the toes out and let the thigh roll out so it's pointing in the same direction as the knee, as the toes. And coming up onto your palms. If you've got your knee down, make sure you tuck back toes under, lift the back knee, step back into down dog. Take 3 breaths. Settle into this. If you need to bend your knees a little to release the lower back, the hamstrings, take them out of the equation. Okay, and then inhale, lift the left left leg up, lower the right heel, three-legged dog. Internally rotate the left thigh, point the toe. On the next exhale, bend the left knee, roll the hip open. So still trying to lower the right heel, but bend the left knee, point the left toes behind you, looking up under your left armpit. And then rolling the hips level, bring the left knee down, come into plank, knee to nose, bring the left foot between your hands, runner's lunge. So sink the hips, lift up through the right thigh, left knee over left ankle, reach the chest, so try not to sink onto that front thigh, be buoyant here, squeeze the core up on your fingertips. And then we're going to come into our twist, so right palm goes down under right shoulder, keep that length, so if you need to drop the knee you can, otherwise keep the back thigh lifting and then twisting up. So squeeze your core. You want to feel this spiralling of the spine. Press through the right palm, reach the top fingertips away. You can look to the side, but if you can keep length in the cervical vertebrae, the neck, then turn to look up at your hand. And then exhale, fingertips down, drop the right knee behind the right hip, flatten the foot, come up into low lunge. Sink the hips, lift the chest, feel the stretch in the front of the right thigh. And then inhale, lift your right arm up and lean over to the left. So you really feel this stretching out through the right hip. There's a tiny little muscle there, TFL, tensor fasciae lata, and it crosses the iliac crest, that bony bit, and it can shorten the muscles. Okay, exhale. Bring your hands back down. We're going to take a vinyasa. So tuck the right toes under. Step back to plank. Lowering to cobra or up dog. Exhale to down dog. Inhale, lift your left leg. You're going to come into lizard. So roll forward into plank. Left knee lifts to place the left foot outside of the left hand. So have the toes pointing directly forward, hug the knee into the upper arm. If you need to drop that back knee, that's fine. If you can, the stronger version is to keep sinking the hips. Have your block ready. Sink the hips, squeeze the thighs to the midline. Hug that left knee into the shoulder, reach the chest forward, gaze is down, and then come down a little lower. So finding where it's harder to come low when your toes are pointing forward because your hip is closed. But so just find a height that you can stay up on your palms as straight arms if that's easier. Okay, and keep squeezing the core, reach the chest forward, then turn the toes, left toes out. And let the thigh roll in the same direction. Keep that projecting the chest forward, keep length in the spine. Okay, come back onto your palms. Lift the left leg back into down dog. Roll forward, drop your knees, just sit back in child's pose. Forehead, tip of the nose on the mat, and then take your arms behind you, backs of the hands rest down. Sink the tailbone towards your heels. hand at the front of the mat. Inhaling, lifting your left leg. Step the left foot wide. You're coming into triangle, Trikonasana. So left foot parallel to the back of the mat, right foot points forward, right heel in line with the instep of the back foot. Straight legs, but don't snap the knees back, it's like lift up through the thighs. So we don't hyperextend through the back of the knee. Take the arms wide. Look over your front hand. Take the left hip back. So as you're drawing up through the right thigh, reach as far as you can, and then exhale, tip. Back of the right hand against your shin. So Amelie, try not to grab, it just means that you've got to go lighter, you've got to squeeze your core rather than just rest on the shin. Keep lifting up through the thighs. Look up at the top hand if you can, otherwise you can just gaze forward. Draw the right side of the ribs across the thighs, so trying to almost tuck the right buttock under, roll the left rib cage open. Inhale, squeeze the thighs to the midline, coming up, hands to hips. Now separate the feet, and we're going to do twisted triangle. So actually it'd be easy if you bring the block to the outside of the front foot. The back toes are pointing slightly forward, so now instead of the hips opening to the side, it's like warrior one. You want to roll the hips, so roll the left thigh bone in, so the hips are level to the front of the mat. Keep your hands on your hips and then inhale, lift your left arm up. Squeeze the thighs, lift up the kneecaps, squeeze your core, reach that hand forward and then bring it to the block. You can stay here, drawing the right hip back, rolling the left side of the hip forward, or you can revolve. So see how you feel and release the top hand, the right hand up. Draw the shoulder down and away from your ears. Squeeze the thighs to the midline. Press the right big toe into the mat. If you can, you'll look up at that right hand. One more breath. Exhale, unravel, bend the right knee. And we're going to step the left foot parallel, just coming into a side angle. Rest your right forearm on the thigh, left hand to your sacrum. Just allow the hips to sink a little. Sweep the top hand over. So really a long straight line from the left little toe to the fingers of the left hand. Rolling the rib cage open. So left side of the rib opens up to the ceiling. And then exhale, release your hands to your hips, step forward. So we're going to come into a balanced pose, dancer, Natarajasana. So if you wanted to have a piece of furniture to hold on to, but obviously if balancing isn't your thing, but it's a really good practice. One is for when you're trying to balance, it really quietens the mind, and the other is it builds real strength in the legs individually. So dancer pose, so we're standing on the right foot, so you make sure it's planted well. You pick your focus, your drishti, soft focus in front of you, and then take your weight onto the right leg, lift the left leg, and then you want to kick the toes up behind you, bring the thighs level, right hand to right hip, take hold of the top of the left foot, and feel like you're tucking your tailbone under, you're pressing the hips forward, and then you'll start to kick the foot into the hand, start to reach the chest forward. So kicking up, so it's rather than drawing the heel to the bottom, it's pushing the foot into the hand. You can start to reach the chest forward and down, or you can release the top hand up. You can hold on to something if you need to, but trying to level the hips. So try not to open to the side. Okay, wherever you're at. Oh, it's hard to come into it fast. You'll then lower the thighs together, bring the feet next to each other. Take a moment in mountain to regain your breath. Okay, and then we're going to do the other side, so it's coming into triangle, so I'll just do from the opposite side. So inhale, lift the right leg, step the right foot back, right foot parallel to the back of the mat, left toes point forward. Sink in, oh no, sorry, triangle. Straighten the legs, take your arms wide, and then feel that action of taking the right hip back, reaching forward, but keeping the right shoulder coming up. You're rolling the right rib cage open. Squeeze the shoulder blades towards each other. Really lift through the kneecaps, thighs engaged. Keep the shoulders drawing away from the ears. Inhale, coming up, hands to hips. So this is, you'll bring, for twisted pose, so bring the block, whichever height you want, to the outside of the front foot. Now step the feet hip distance apart, right toes pointing slightly forward, so now you can roll the right thigh inwards to level the hips to the front of the mat, lift up through the thighs, lift the chest, squeeze your core, inhale, right arm up, exhale, so really pull up through the left thigh, reach that hand forward, squeeze your core, hand to the block. You can stay here, squeezing the thighs to the midline, keep the left thigh bone coming up into the hip socket. If you can, you'll revolve, roll the left shoulder up, reach the hand up and look up. But draw the shoulder blades towards each other, scissoring the legs so you're squeezing the legs to the midline. Press the left big toe to the mat. And then inhale, left hand to hip, look down. You're going to come up, bend the front knee, step the right foot parallel to the back of the mat, so coming into side angle. Left forearm with the palm facing up, so just resting here, you should be able to use your core strength so you're not sinking onto that thigh, so nice and light, right hand to the sacrum to initiate that turn. So as you start to roll the rib cage open and then sweep the top hand up and over. But actually don't just have that arm just dangling, you want to side angle stretch. So you're pressing through the right little toe into the mat, the outer edge of that foot, reaching up and then rolling the rib cage open. Squeeze your core, revolving. Keep light, see if you can even move this front hand. And then inhale, coming up, exhale, step to the front. So we're going to do Natrajasana, dancer on the other side. So again, if you need to have a prop somewhere to hold on to. So picking your gaze point, hands to hips, lift up through the left thigh, centre of gravity goes over that leg, and then kick the right toes up behind you. Take hold of the top of the foot. Thighs are parallel to start with. Lift up, squeeze the core, and start to push. As you reach the chest forward, you push the foot into the hand. Extending, extending. If you want to, I'm going to come and check you out, but if you want to reach the left hand forward, but trying to keep lowering so you don't want to open this way to the side. You're trying to, as if the thighs are together, and then take the knee directly back. So you want to keep that thigh rolling under you, knee pointing down. Well done. Keep breathing. Stand up strongly, straight left leg. One more breath. Bring the knees back together and then lower the foot to the mat, standing mountain. Bravo, well done. Okay, then we're nearly done. Coming down onto the mat, and we're going to do pigeon, but slightly different to how we normally do pigeon pose. So bring your right knee to the right side of the mat, take your ankle and bring your shin parallel to the front edge of the mat. So normally we'll have we'll have the toes pointing down behind you, but this time you're bringing the shin parallel, knee and ankle in line, but don't let go of your foot, and you don't sit down. So this is really strong through the hip, which is why we're keeping hold of the foot to keep the knee safe. You can wiggle that back foot, so we stay quite high on this. Take the back leg back, but feel as if you're squeezing your pelvic floor and you're squeezing the knees towards each other, so the hips stay high but you're really active through the glutes. It's very strong through the hip. If it doesn't feel good, don't do it, but deep hip opener. Okay, release the ankle, slide that foot back. Other side. So the knee, left knee to the outside edge of the mat. And then take hold of the ankle, draw the shin parallel. Firmly press that ankle down. And then slide the right leg back. So you're still really high. Squeeze the knees towards each other. Don't force it, Alison, if it's you can't. No. I should do a sign language course, but yeah, if it's not good, it's not good. You can do the normal pigeon. This is okay. Release the foot, come out of it. Sometimes our hips are so tight that you can't get that angle there. Okay, sit. Over time, sit back, and we're going to come into butterfly, but supine Baddha Konasana. Lie down, draw your heels towards your bottom, and then press the soles of your feet together, and relax your head and shoulders down. This is the point where I'm very glad you've all got opaque leggings on. But just let the hips, you can bring your hands to the tops of your thighs. Try not to arch the lower back, so you're trying to just gently squeeze the core so that the lower back touches the mat. Close your eyes. And then we're going to come into Shavasana. So if you want to put something warmer on, dim the lights. Really letting that sensation of the floor rising up to meet you, or sinking into it. It's like enormous cloud that starts to envelop you. And you can feel with every breath, as you inhale, the cloud lifts you up. And as you exhale, you sink down into its fluffiness. You're completely weightless. You feel every joint, you know that you've moved, you can feel the muscles have worked and stretched. But you can feel space in your body. So as you slowly rise and fall on this cloud, just bring your attention to every connection in the body, every joint, every point where a muscle or a tendon connects, just drawing your thoughts and just feeling the space there, every vertebrae. You can feel space between each of them. And as each inhale lifts you up, you can feel expanding the oxygen, opening the muscles up, bringing space into the joints, bringing space into your torso, into the chest cavity. Your organs can breathe and float. And then on every exhale, you feel that grounding of the exhale as you sink down into the cloud. It's like it's cuddling you, it's keeping you warm. You feel that nurturing touch of its lightness on you. Even the thoughts in your head, as those thoughts come through, just push them on, just don't connect with them. Like all the connected parts in your body, just allow the thoughts to slide on by. Even your head is a big fluffy cloud. Nothing going on, emptying it. Bringing your awareness back to where you are now, starting to move fingers and toes, taking a stretch. And then when you're ready, rolling onto your right side, curling there, just settling. Taking that one little step before you rise to just allow the body to wake. And then eyes closed, draw yourself into a seated position. Inhaling deeply, exhaling completely. Bring your palms together at your heart center, lowering your head and opening your eyes.